today I'm joined with the co-founders of Trove Labs, David Leer and Brendan Cantu. They're the creators of NEKO, Classic Kangaroos NFTs, Good Fortune NFTs, and Jump DeFi. Welcome along, David and Brendan.
What's up, Andy? Thanks for having us, man. It's a pleasure.
Yep, nice to be here. Great to talk with you.
Fantastic. So I've got a number of questions we'll go through, and it'll be great to hear your answers on these. Cool. So we'll start off with just a simple question about your backgrounds. Maybe we'll start with Brendan. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into Web3 and crypto?
Well, I guess basically I started out, I got my bachelor's in biology and ended up working for a laboratory, and I got really experienced with, scaling out the whole business and kind of making sure operations were consistent and stuff like that. And I've always been into technology and kind of got into Solana, some investments, and in 2021, that summer. And then eventually we kind of just wanted to experiment with, how we could get more involved with that, kind of making our own NFT ideas and different concepts. And then it kind of started to grow as we got more into Near Protocol and saw that it was a very technologically sound blockchain, and it had a lot of potential. And then we eventually started off with the Classic Kangaroo collection to show that we could make something that we could stand by with quality and transparency, and it took off from there.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you. And how about yourself, David?
Yeah, to start, I just want to give a little shout out to my NEKO shirt here.
It's fantastic.
Swag. Yeah, you might see me rocking it on NearCon. But yeah, welcome everyone. I'm David. Andy, thank you for the awesome introduction. And for myself, sort of my background, crypto, how it all started. Began buying spot Bitcoin and crypto Bitcoin and Ethereum a few years ago, but didn't really dive into the technology, just more of an investment purpose. And that changed as I began to become more fascinated with it, become more interested in investing as a whole, whether that's stocks and all of that. And when the layer one ecosystems really began to grow, and there were a lot of the sort of growth funds that came out, and that's Matic Polygon and Solana and many more of the EVM chains, that's really where I began to do a lot of my digging into what crypto was all about, learning about decentralized finance, and then it grew into NFTs as well. The Solana NFT ecosystem is really where I began to dive into being a community member and trying to expand the ecosystem, and was very fortunate to be a first mover in that space. It really helped set me up. And like Brandon said, we've sort of been together every step of the journey. Whenever I had investment ideas, we would always share that information with each other. Brandon and I have been best friends since we were 12 years old, essentially. So we always had a group chat going, and it just, everything slowly evolved. We became very fascinated with NFTs when sort of the first Ethereum NFT bull run really started to occur towards the early parts of 2021. And we didn't really know what we were doing. We were taking photos and creating 3D images and just trying to figure out what everything was really all about. We were creating graphics and stuff, turning them into NFTs for Web3 projects, as like trying to create custom NFTs. And it wasn't a great business model, but it just continued to help us grow and learn and get to where we're at today.
Cool. Yeah, the early 2021 when I came into
crazy times
into NFTs, and yeah, especially. And the problem is you didn't understand it too well at that stage, and so there's a couple of these opportunities like Bored Apes, which was floating around, but I didn't really research into, and then you missed the boat. And then the Gary V stuff came along, and it was like, oh, $500, that's a bit too expensive. And now you're sort of kicking yourself.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So obviously, yeah, you've known each other for a long time, and you created Trove Labs together. So what was your goal for creating the company?
Yeah, so Trove Labs officially launched in early 2021, January of 2021. And there were sort of two facets of what we were trying to accomplish. first. There's the consulting side, and then there's the development side. For the development side, we knew the Web3 startups that we wanted to create, and we understand the structure in which those Web3 startups needed to be, but we need an entity inside of the United States to sort of that we can work for, because of how a lot of sort of how you can set up Web3 businesses are. There's a lot of certain regulatory structures that you need to have, but essentially Trove Labs is how we interact with those Web3 startups inside of the United States for tax purposes. And then mainly it's serves as our consulting business, where we really focus on token economics and helping Web3 startups develop the best tokenomics that they can for their whatever their project may be.
Cool, that's great. Thank you for that. And obviously, as I said, you've got one part which is that consulting arm, and the other side of that is building out your own projects. So can you just touch on a little bit around your own projects?
Yeah, certainly. I guess just to kind of circle back, sort of the goals that we had from the consulting side of things, before we dive into what we're developing ourselves, is mainly focused on tokenomics, because that's just one of the most fundamental lacks of quality within a lot of projects. It seems like there wasn't a lot of attention paid to the tokenomics of many projects during the bull run, or people actually developed tokenomics in somewhat of bad faith, where they were more interested in getting as much money in their pockets as possible. And so it's a real plague for a lot of these, even a lot of these tokens that did perform well in sort of the big bull run. You have these gnarly emission schedules and massive allocations to VC investors that completely destroy the token price when there's not a ton of demand and the market's not up only. So we wanted to help fix that. We think that that's the only way for the crypto space to really evolve, is to begin to implement common sense token economics, leverage the economic principles that we all know and have proven to be successful, and build those into a token model, into whatever your Web3 startup may be. And if we can help projects create better tokenomics, then we can help the crypto ecosystem grow and become something that can evolve.
Yeah, I was going to add really quickly that basically we like our consulting advice to reflect our own values and practices from the experiences that we've gained with our own projects. And a lot of the projects that David mentioned, they don't necessarily focus on sustainability or even practicality. Like they sometimes they just gloss over the business model entirely, and we just kind of hope to help them grasp that idea and create something that will last with a solid business model that'll actually be sustainable.
Yeah, that's and one of the things I've obviously been delving deep into NEKO and how the tokenomics works there. And it's not your standard mill sort of tokenomics that you have with you've obviously really thought about how that works and how you can sort of get the contracts to do interesting things like burn 2.5%, and if things are if people sell with a tax, and that's really great.
Yeah, and I'm excited to dive into all of those mechanics and stuff. But before we do that, let's just touch on the Web3 startups that we've launched on here.
Sure.
And the first project that we launched in early January was the Classy Kangaroos, which is a very small collection of 550 NFTs, and was designed to create a tight-knit community of early evangelist supporters that will be with us through all of our future development goals and will be rewarded every step of the way. And the Classy Kangaroos have done a fantastic job at fulfilling exactly what we wanted to there. The community that was established is very strong and has been able to receive some kick-ass rewards, and will continue to be rewarded. And we'll kind of dive into what that means. But also with the Classy Kangaroos, we were able to begin developing smart contracts and playing around in the Near ecosystem, developing things that we can kind of put our mark on and show the quality standards that we have from a UI UX perspective, because we do and always have had some really big development goals coming down the pipeline on your protocol. And as non-technical founders, we need to really show our audience and show investors that we know what we're doing and that we can deliver in a technical setting. And we needed to learn how to do that. And so Classic Kangaroos really did give us a great sort of foundation to learn how to develop smart contract applications. What does the auditing process look like? What is, from 0 to 1, what do we need to do? And there were so many roadblocks along the way that now we were able to figure out, and it just made us stronger for our more extensive development opportunities that we've had. So it's been extremely valuable in that regard, and very happy for what's in store for the Classic Kangaroos coming up. After the Classic Kangaroos was NEKO, and NEKO was born as the first meme coin on Near Protocol to sort of fill a really important role within the Near ecosystem. But that's only just the very sort of tip of the iceberg for what NEKO is. NEKO goes way beyond memes, and it powers the creator economy on Near Protocol. And what that means is that NEKO sponsors and rewards professional content creators like yourself in NEKO to make educational content about the Near Protocol ecosystem on leading platforms like TikTok and YouTube. We feel that that is really the best way to reach the masses, is by using the main social media platforms that exist, especially TikTok. And I think that's a real edge that we have, being able to give Near Protocol such a strong footprint within TikTok. I think that's unlike any other layer 1 ecosystem. So that's sort of our NEKO is our way to bring mass adoption to Near Protocol, to reach the masses and to educate them so they can be prepared to succeed within this Web3 evolution that we have. And sort of the final component to our startup mission on Near is Jump DeFi. Jump DeFi is a one-stop decentralized finance platform that's composed of a diverse range of products that lower the barrier of entry to DeFi for users and developers on Near. There's 6 different protocols built into the Jump DeFi ecosystem, and we're getting ready to launch phase 1 here very shortly. So super excited for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you can see what Jump offers. I mean, you've got so many different tools within there and Launchpad. So can't wait to delve into that. We'll jump into that a little bit later on in the conversation. Cool. So obviously you've been doing a lot of that development on Near and learning about Near. What are a couple of your takeaways from learning how to sort of work with the Near protocol?
I can touch on that one really quickly. I'd say, number one is developing on a new blockchain brings a lot of challenges, especially like finding reliable, competent developers and managing them. That's a whole new set of skills that we've had to learn, is the whole software development process and continuation of it, updating things, checking for audit security and post-launch feedback from the community, stuff like that. And then also just getting those developers that actually have the skills to do what you need. Near is developed with Rust, and there's not as many developers available as there are on bigger chains like Ethereum with Solidity and that. So it's a little bit harder to find them, but as David said, launching the Classic Kangaroos collection gave us a lot of experience with that, allowed us to make the right relationships and eventually come to find the developers that we've entrusted to make the Jump DeFi platform.
And to note, finding developers and team members that are strong and then empowering them to succeed. We brought in 8 developers that had never really even heard of Near Protocol. We brought them to Near, and now they're Near native. All they're doing is is building on Near, and sort of empowering them to do that, giving them the confidence that, yes, this is a new blockchain ecosystem, but let's check it out. It's Rust. You have experience in Solana, so let's see if it's any harder than Solana is. Well, it turns out it's much easier to develop on Near Protocol than it is Solana, and the developers that we ushered in, now they're the founders of their own Web3 projects, and they're just kicking butt within the Near ecosystem, and that is really cool to see. So I think just understanding that if you have people that you're working with, if you can empower them to succeed and help them in their endeavors that they're passionate about, you're going to have fantastic results all around.
Yeah, it also speaks for itself that Near is the protocol that they chose to build.
Yeah,
to build on.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest overall learning lesson and concept that I've had is that you need to be flexible, and you need to be able to pivot. There's going to be so many unknowns, especially developing on a new technology. You're going to run into roadblocks, to obstacles that can really try to set you back and take the wind out of your sails, and you can't let that happen. You need to keep pushing forward and succeed at all costs. And if your plan's not working, then you need to figure out what's going to work and adjust your plan. And while you're doing that, you need to be consistently communicating with your community and letting them know. You should never lie, and be honest about everything. Whenever we've had any issues, any problems, any setbacks, we've been very quick and vocal to voice them and provide, A to Z information on exactly what went wrong and what we're going to do to fix it. And I think that's really set us up to succeed in the space.
Being able to pivot and that adaptability is fundamental for startups. Definitely learned that. And yeah, that's something, we wanted to build something that we believed in, that others could believe in. And that's why, as David said, transparency is very important. And I think that kind of strengthens our bond with the community. Just being vocal about every step of the way, any changes, and also taking their feedback, kind of making those changes for the good of the project for everyone.
Yeah, I think in especially around community building, then being open and honest and present all help to build a really strong community. So fantastic work there, guys, on that. So with Near Protocol, obviously there's you've learned a lot along the way. What are some of those strengths that you see with Near Protocol, I guess now, but also going forward? There's a lot more people coming on to build on it. If someone was out there watching this and they were looking to build on a blockchain, what would you tell them around some of those biggest benefits of Near Protocol?
I would say that one of the biggest benefits, and especially in the beginning, was the community and how easy it was to just talk to other projects and talk with people and get help and start something. It was a more accepting community than other blockchains, such as the NFT space on Solana or Ethereum. Everyone was kind of going through the same problems and looking for the same solutions to develop applications on a newer blockchain. And it's still like that now. I mean, we have a lot of good relationships with the other projects, and anyone who's creating something new and practical, we would definitely want to help out and see, offer all the resources we can. I would say the Near Foundation, the Near team, is also very, very helpful to new founders, and they offer a lot of resources as well. There's some pretty good opportunities with Near grants and stuff like that. They're restructuring, but they're still very, very open to helping anyone who has an idea and a passion to create something. So that's one of the big positives.
Brandon really nailed two of the most important things: community, the community that exists within Near, and how accepting everyone is. The support from the Near Foundation. There's an $800 million Near growth fund that exists to help founders at these early stages and help build communities and help communities thrive. And right now we're in the building stage of that growth fund. And so those resources are being utilized by developers. The developers are building their applications, and the next step is going to be when these applications launch. And that's really when we'll see the massive growth within Near Protocol, and you want to get in before that happens, which is right now. Also, the technology. The technology is probably the most compelling reason to come to Near and to build on Near. The scaling solution that Near Protocol provides is, from a layman's perspective, essentially what Ethereum 2.0 is trying to be once it fully scales, however many years from now that is. So Near Protocol has already achieved that in its current form. So it does provide what arguably is the best scaling solution in its available right now. It's also extremely easy to develop on compared to Solana, even though they both use Rust. It's just much more streamlined and more easier to develop on Near Protocol. So I'd say those are absolutely the reasons to come check out Near Protocol and see what it has to offer. And if you do, hit us up and we'll be the first to welcome you.
Adding to that one really quick, I think that Near is kind of set up, so that projects can kind of pursue different use cases for their communities than traditionally seen on other blockchains. Like you can kind of, as David said, Near has the ability for fast transactions and low fees that allow you to experiment with all sorts of new utilities like staking, NFT applications, and the user is able to participate in those without spending an arm and a leg on gas fees like on Ethereum. And that's one of the main benefits for new, evolving what your project can do.
So I want to just sort of move on now to something slightly different. So obviously one of the NFT projects you created was the classic Kangaroos at your start. And you've also now created Good Fortune Felines NFTs. So can you tell us a little bit about that project?
The Good Fortune Felines are not a separate project. They are the foundation of NEKO. And so the Good Fortune Felines is an NFT collection that consists of 1,608 NFTs, and they represent the earliest form of investment into the NEKO project. And so by participating in the early investment, the Good Fortune Feline NFTs can be staked to earn 10% of the NEKO token supply, which kind of represents like one of an early investment round. Of course, it was open to the public by purchasing the NFTs, and that created the core community, which is then growing the Near mission.
So we've touched on the Good Fortune Feline staking. Could you dive down a bit more into the tokenomics?
Yeah, so NEKO does feature tokenomics components that are entirely innovative to Near Protocol. So NEKO is the first to deliver a tax component within the tokenomics. There is a 5% fee that is assigned to every transaction whenever NEKO is sold. Half of that tax is automatically burned to create a highly deflationary mechanic. And the other half of the tax is deposited into the fortune cookie vault, where it is returned back to holders.
Great. So that sounds like a really interesting way for people to learn about the tokenomics of NEKO and how it works with those Good Fortune Felines. You're also using NEKO tokens to help obviously onboard people to the Near Protocol. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
NEKO by design is intended to onboard people into Near Protocol, NEKO as a project. And we do that mainly through content creation. Like we had noted earlier, the NEKO is used to pay content creators to make educational content about Near, and we utilize TikTok and YouTube platforms to do that. And also we reward people for viewing the content and actually engaging with it via our Learn to Earn initiative. So if you watch the content that we create, you can earn NEKO as well. And so we're using NEKO token to drive the creator side and the viewer side to really give our content the biggest footprint that it can. And so far, it's been working fantastic, and we've been able to onboard some amazing creators that are now making Near native content, which is fantastic for the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to also mention that the content that we're creating in NEKO has a big focus on educating these users and educating people, not just from Near, on concepts like DeFi and different NFT utilities. So it's really important to kind of get that information out there. And by doing that, you're also able to reach a wider audience that maybe will start watching these videos that we create and then see how that they can apply these concepts of Near, and then that could possibly onboard them on the Near as well.
Cool. And so I guess as someone who's gone and I've engaged with the community, I've watched some of these videos and earned some NEKO token. What's next for me as a holder of NEKO? So how can I get the most out of my NEKO tokens?
Yeah, so there are a few really big milestones coming up that you as a NEKO holder are going to be really excited for. First, we will have the NEKO token IDO, which is the initial DEX offering. The IDO will launch from the Jump DeFi Jump Pad, which is our IDO platform that we're developing. And from there, when that happens, NEKO will be sold to the market at a fixed price, and NEKO will really be launched and live. It will be a tradable asset at that time. And from there, you will really be able to, that NEKO will go from just being a token into your wallet to being, worth some level of value. But to really maximize your NEKO token, there's a few awesome things that you can do. There's going to be the standard yield farming and liquidity, being a liquidity provider, which is you're going to be able to earn further rewards there. But you can also bake your NEKO into fortune cookies. And when you bake your NEKO into cookies, you can deposit the cookie into the fortune cookie vault. When you deposit cookie into the fortune cookie vault, you receive the NEKO taxes whenever NEKO is sold. So that's really the primary method to take advantage of the protocol. And the fortune cookie vault, we were actually hosting the NEKO initial farm offering out of there. And so to start, there will be 5% of the total NEKO supply that's deposited into the fortune cookie vault. So you as a user will be able to bake your NEKO into cookies and access those farming rewards. But to access them, you're going to need to participate with the protocol, which is ultimately the main goal. And since hosting the IFO from the fortune cookie vault is pretty intelligent idea on our part, we think, because there will be continued rewards after the IFO ends, because the taxes whenever NEKO sold will continue to deposit and feed into the vault, and you will be able to reap those rewards. And when you want to stop for whatever reason, all you need to do is go back and convert your cookies back into NEKO at a 1-to-1 ratio. So there's no loss there. However, to bake your NEKO into cookies, there is a small baking fee. And essentially the small baking fee makes it so you do need to keep your cookie stake in the fortune cookie vault for a certain time period to cover the baking fee. If you were to deposit and withdraw or take out your cookies and convert them back into NEKO, well, you're going to be out a little bit of money because you haven't earned rewards for that baking fee yet. I think that's one of the main innovative components that we're bringing in the NEKO tokenomics. And I'm really excited to see what it does for the protocol.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things is that it's going to keep people in the ecosystem instead of them going, right, I've got my NEKO, I'm going to go off and now convert it to Near or whatever they want to convert it to. So I think it's awesome how you've built those tokenomics to be able to just keep people wanting to get yield and build up from there. So that's awesome. So you just touched. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to dive into a few of the other earlier supporter rewards that are available for NEKO. So as we've noted, we are developing the Jump DeFi platform. And so there will be a strong partnership between Jump DeFi and NEKO. And one of the first components of that, in addition to the initial DEX offering, will actually be the NEKO airdrop. And we've been rolling this out, but we haven't provided sort of the final clarity on this yet. The NEKO airdrop will be an NFT that you receive. Instead of just a group of tokens, you will receive an NFT for free. You'll be airdropped an NFT, and then you must stake your NEKO airdrop NFT with the Jump DeFi NFT staking platform, and you will be able to earn the airdrop allocation that way. So that will be another option for you as a NEKO supporter to earn those early evangelist rewards.
Cool. So David, you just talked about Jump DeFi and obviously the synergies between NEKO and Jump DeFi. So this is your new DeFi platform that you've built. Can you just tell us about it and some of the features that you've built into it?
Yeah. So Jump DeFi really is the first one-stop decentralized finance platform on Near. So it brings all of the applications that users and developers need to succeed in their DeFi journey on Near. The products are really focused on what is Near missing and how can we bring it and innovate it. And there's quite a few different products that are going to be within the Jump DeFi ecosystem. So there's the Jump Dex, which is an automated market maker. We also have the Jump Pad, which is a token IDO launchpad. We have the Jump Token Laboratory, which enables anyone to create and customize their own NEP 141 token with just a few clicks and no coding required. We have the Jump Staking Platform, as Jump NFT Staking Platform as well, which is NFT staking as a service that other collections will be able to come to and use our infrastructure to host their NFT staking, where they'll be able to take advantage of emissions from Jump and also from a KOVA token, which are our partners with the NFT staking platform. Yeah, those are sort of the main products. We do have a few other items as well.
Cool. That sounds awesome, and yeah, great list there of things that services or areas that people can utilize and get the most out of Near. So that's awesome. I guess I just want to really wrap up now with one last question, and that's really just looking. Obviously, we're in this, what everyone classes as a bear market at the moment, but we won't be here forever. Everything's cyclical. So where do you see the future of Near and NEKO as we sort of come out of that bear market in maybe the next year or so?
Yeah, so the way I am sort of tracking things is I was able to see the Solana ecosystem really roll out from going to very few users to where it's at today. And I saw the same first movers that I was sort of kind of chumming along with in Solana before anyone else was talking about it, began to transition into Near Protocol towards the end of 2021. And when I began to investigate Near because of that, but I really saw a lot of this sort of the same, it seemed like deja vu. And so I anticipate that as more, it's going to be a slow burn until it's not. And if you find the project teams that are building no matter what, despite a lack of hype, if you find those products that are being created and that actually have strong value behind them, there's a good chance that there's going to be great success there. But as more venture capital funds begin to get exposure, you've already seen the biggest funds in the space that the Alameda Researches and the Jump Capital, Near Protocols raised $500 million in 2022 alone. And so it's really just going to be a stage of developing and getting that capital to do what it needs to do to bring the ecosystem to a place where it makes sense for users to come in. And we're really very close to that, but it's still at the stages where the key infrastructure is being developed and getting to a place where it's usable enough for users to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and definitely, at the moment, everyone says, in this sort of type of market, look for those projects that are building, and Near Protocol is definitely one of those that are building. And obviously, if Near goes through that that growth, then it should take NEKO with us. What are your plans
Oh yeah,
for the next couple of years to what's your vision in the next couple of years for NEKO?
oh man, that's a great question.
Let me add one
That's
here.
a big question.
I'd say that what's really important for NEKO, as we've said, we want to create a creator empowerment community, and the project is centered around that. I really want to see our repository of information and educational content grow. I want to see a lot of other creators create things for us, and hopefully we can really have a positive impact on the community. And by doing that, you know, it should spread and grow the community with people who are knowledgeable on crypto and DeFi and these things. And then, you know, the platform will be able to kind of just help spread that exposure for Near Protocol. And that's what we've been building for in the bear market and preparing for. And I think we're almost set. I think things are coming back up, and it's going to be really exciting to see what happens.
As Brandon noted, content creation is really one of the most important components, and we want to be the first touch for anyone that's going to learn about Near on YouTube. If they search Near Protocol, we want NEKO content to be the first thing they see. Same thing as all of the other platforms that we're on. If we can be that voice, that's going to be extremely valuable, and it's going to allow us to reach as many people as possible and be that, you know, the person, the entity that ushers in the new users and is able to do it in a way that has their best interests in mind. But also from the community side, we want to continue to be a strong force within the Near Protocol ecosystem and work alongside Near to really be an ambassador to Near and be the ambassador to Near that is trusted to bring in new users and create a community around that. And so far, we've been able to do a great job with that, attending various conferences like Consensus and NFT New York as ambassadors to Near. And we just want to continue to grow that relationship and sort of fill the same niche as Samo fills within the Solana ecosystem. A very similar sort of thing is that we're striving for there. Very, very happy with everything we've accomplished so far and where our community's at. And I think there's only going to be good things forward.
Thanks very much, Brandon and David, for joining us here today, and really appreciate your time and looking forward to us growing together. Thanks very much, team.
Likewise, man. It was great. Take it easy.
Yep. Thanks for having us.
Bye, everyone.